soul would have been done and gone by now. Not running her business under the ground.
If I were to tell you why I did what I did, when I was broke and alone, would you pity me? Or would you say that my actions were justified?
I see you stitching there, darling. Needles dance, you're so charming.
Perfect crime. Call police. Drive away. Choices. Choices. Choices.
Oh, darn it, Barbara. Do you think your father would approve of your actions?
No, he's just gonna be very upset. And now he's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill you. You and you.
Choices. Choices. Choices.
Mobile seamstress, suddenly not so mobile.
That shit hurts!
The first kill is always the hardest.
Choices. Choices.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am so proud and happy to be here with two amazing actors from a great film I saw last year at South by Southwest, actually, called So Torn. And I'm here with John Lynch and Eve Connolly. John and Eve, say hello to everybody out there on the internet.
Hello.
Now, I love that you two got paired because you two are the literal juxtaposed characters in the film. Eve, you play Barbara, a seamstress who gets caught in something that she doesn't really quite know what it is. And then, John, you play Hudson, who is a very hard man, very difficult man, but he's a man of very certain beliefs, as it were. I love this movie, and I love especially the scene with the schnitzel between you two in the film. Can you talk about building the anti-chemistry between you two and how you built that up and what part Freddie played in putting that together?
What do you think, Eve? Do you want to try? Or we
Yeah.
didn't really have any time together, did we?
Yeah. No,
we
it
would
was
meet.
yeah.
We would meet on the road. There was only with the place where we were staying. There was a big gas station, I suppose, petrol station, say, with many salads. We couldn't find a salad anywhere, and we used to meet on the road. Either I was leaving or Eve was arriving with laden down with salads. That was our kind of preliminary, I suppose. We would have a quick chat, say hello. We met at breakfast one morning, but no, we went straight into the diner pretty much, didn't we? We didn't.
Yeah, I think that was our first thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Eve had to do that incredible dance at the end of it, which we never rehearsed, which she did just on, like the diner scene itself. We just went for a take, and then we went for a take on the dance. It was a charmed day, a brilliant day.
Yeah.
But no, there was an instant. I think there was an instant connection between us. I think also we're Irish. I think that helps. That helped. Yeah. But there was a trust, I think, that between us, which was important for those scenes, really, especially for Eve.
Yeah, and honestly, like John, his portrayal of Hudson made it so much easier for me to play Barbara in those moments. Like, he can be terrifying. Like, for such a nice man, you really can be terrifying, and that was so what was needed in those scenes. So I honestly feel like half the scenes with John, I never was nervous because I kind of knew that he would be able to get whatever was needed from me, if you know what I mean. Like, I was just reacting to everything he did, so it was easy, and I didn't feel like we actually needed like any extensive preparation because it was just kind of natural.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that you brought up that dance because that was one of my next questions, John. Is the choreography that had to go into that and the absolute thrill I got when the entire matrix of string comes together. It's just this symphony of craziness. What was that like, Eve?
I mean, so much of that is like Freddie, like just being a genius, and Freddie and his dad Fred working all that out. So what they told me was just the areas that I needed to hit in the restaurant and where I needed to move through. And then they kind of had explained to me the kind of vibe of the dance that they wanted, and it was actually what I did in my callback on Zoom. So I had kind of already done a type of dance which was just kind of the way I dance in the Zoom, and it was like he just said kind of go crazy with it. And then we hadn't done it again, hadn't really discussed it until that day. And Freddie kind of gave me where to go in the restaurant, but he felt very strongly that it shouldn't be choreographed and it shouldn't be like Barbara's not a dancer. She's doing this first as a distraction, and then it connects her to her mother, so she becomes emotional about it. But he was very clear that he did not want it to feel overly choreographed. And then when it comes to all the strings, that's really the genius of Freddie. Like he really had to, that was him and Fred going around their house at home, working all that out in their own home, and then sending me videos and being like, this is what the string will look like. It's like Freddie is the genius there.
I love that. That's actually it's one of the more fun scenes in an otherwise what I would consider somewhat unserious movie, but it does have its serious moments. It's such a great balance of funny and deathly serious, and it's a great thriller and a good mystery, and it's got to be really fun to be on a set like that with actors like Kay and actors like Callum who are so fun. And then I'm glad you mentioned John because I thought that he was terrifying and just he was going to be terrifying today, but no, he seems like a lovely gent.
He is. He is. Don't worry.
That's good
You
because
should have
yeah, he
seen me
scared.
when I was drinking. No, I haven't. I haven't had
Wow.
a drink in 26 years. I think that's saved the world, really.
I was gonna say, I think that might be for the better there. That's always a good
No,
thing, right?
I wanted to talk about Ron. That scene in the diner is prefaced by Ron Cook coming in to show me all his little doodles that he opens the little. I couldn't. That was really hard to keep a straight face, and I had to kind of terrify this guy. And he's showing me these little things, these little embroidered houses. So that was another great memory of that day. Was watching him
Okay.
work. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so good. Like
It's
there's
beautiful.
such a there's such a wholesomeness to Oscar that you don't see in a lot of the other characters in the film, and it's just such a wonderful thing to see. I also wanted to mention the car, Eve, that you drive.
I
What's up
love the
with that
car.
thing? That thing is amazing.
It is.
Uh,
Oh my God. I wanted, I think we all wanted to take that car home. Like it was, and luckily enough, like because I'm from Ireland, we drive manual. So that kind of looked out that I could drive manual because it is a manual car and it's kind of finicky. It's special, it has its own personality. But once you get the hang of it, it's like honestly the cutest, most incredible car. And I think we all wanted it. But actually, if I'm correct, belonged to a woman that they passed one day, and I think they were just kind of like, can we put this in a movie? And she allowed it to be taken for the movie, and I think it went back to her afterwards, as far as I know. But yeah,
Is
we
it a Fiat? Is it a
yeah,
Fiat?
it's a Fiat 500, isn't it? It's an
Yeah,
old
it's
Fiat 500.
had
Yeah,
a
yeah,
card.
from the 60s. I imagine that's when
yeah.
they first appeared. Yeah,
It
it's
looks like
beautiful.
a
It's like my
it look
Vespa.
yeah,
My Vespa.
it looked like a '60s Fiat with a thimble of
Yeah,
thread on the back. It's such a cool thing, and the color's perfect because it's
Yeah.
juxtaposed against your red hair, and it just works so well. That's another thing I wanted to talk about the look of the film that Freddie chose to go with. There's a certain there's a certain way everything is lit here, that at some points is super bright, but then at a certain point everything gets real faded and darker. And can you talk about that when you're looking at the movie? There's such a striking, again, juxtaposition in color from the beginning of the movie to the middle and end of the movie. Did you guys notice that? And do you know what I'm talking about?
I haven't
Yeah.
seen them.
Well, there was a very specific color choices made in the film for each storyline. They picked a different color scheme. So if I'm right, it's blue, red, yellow, but maybe not in that order. But Freddie and Sebastian, the cinematographer, they really work like they are a partnership, and they really both understood what they wanted the film to look like. Every shot of the film they had in their head, and Freddie was almost editing it in his head as he was filming it, which made it very quick when we were working, but also they knew what they were capturing when they were doing it, and they're just yeah, I think that really just comes from their really tight partnership, Freddie and Sebastian. And I did notice it. I mean, there's some shots outdoor. I remember my agent when he saw the film, he was like, "This looks angelic." Some of these shots, like they really can make it look otherworldly, and then really take it down in tone like a second later. But it's again, it's the genius of Freddie and Sebastian, like all them.
I love that. And so whenever I have a guest on for the first time, you guys have never spoken to me before, so we're going to ask you. I always ask two questions just to get to know you better. And I'm really interested to see what you say. The first one is very simple. It is who are some people that you looked up to, whether that be personally or professionally?
John.
Me, I had a teacher at school I looked up to who kind of saved me in a way. He's dead now. He was my English teacher. He was called Sean Hollywood. And then when I was young, I looked up to writers. I looked up to singers. I looked up to Leonard Cohen. I think a big influence on my life was Leonard Cohen. Big influence as a writer was Joseph Campbell. I read a lot of Joseph Campbell when I got sober. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Seamus Heaney. I could go on and on and on, but a lot of my influences are singer, songwriter, literary. Yeah, and one or two people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm similar. I mean, my mom, I still think my mom is probably the smartest person in the world, and I still have to run every decision I make by my mom. I just think she's like a genius, and she's probably the person that I looked up to the most. And I think in general, like anyone who knows me knows I love Taylor Swift. I think she's a genius, and she's a big person for me, like all throughout my life. And then in terms of who I wanted to be and a career I wanted to have. I love people like Nicole Holofcener and obviously Greta Gerwig. I love Mark and J. Duplass. There's so many filmmakers that I just think are writers and directors that are geniuses. Gillian Robespierre, and there's just so many that it's hard to describe them all, but yeah, those are a few.
You just described the entire mid 2010s mumblecore scene with Julian Robespierre and Greta Gerwig. Yeah. And Mark Duplass, who will be on here next week.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Trust me. No,
Yeah.
I love those answers. Those are great answers. And I love the Joseph Campbell poll. I love Joseph Campbell's a great poll. If nobody's ever had a chance to read, that's beautiful stuff.
There's a great book, Joseph Campbell Companion, it's called, and it's a kind of just a bunch of excerpts from his writings and his teachings and whatever. And it's not that huge, but it's a great book to carry with you. It's called the Joseph Campbell Companion. I don't get any royalties or percentages from nada.
He's just giving us an honest answer, which I personally can appreciate. This second question is a lot harder, and I really look forward to hearing it because you guys come from different backgrounds. John, you've been an actor, and Eve, you started as a model, so this will be a very interesting question. 2 films you can watch for the rest of your life. What are they and why?
Oh my God.
You got them.
Do you know?
Shane.
Really?
Film?
The Western,
Shane,
yeah.
Shane. It's a film. It's one of the greatest Westerns ever. It was a short story by Jack Schaefer that was adapted into a film with Alan Ladd, Van Heflin, and it's what the film Pale Rider is loosely based on. Clint Eastwood kind of did a remake of it, but Shane is directed by George Stevens, who was a cinematographer originally. Yep. Shane is the film I could watch forever, but it makes me cry. So Gene Arthur
also in that. Gene Arthur's also in that. It's a great film.
Gene Arthur is also in that. Yeah, Gene Arthur, who I was in love with when I was a boy.
Yeah,
And
can't
then
blame you.
yeah, and then the other one, I don't know. I'm torn between The Godfather and It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, I'm when given the choice between anybody and Capra, I'm taking Capra. So
Okay, okay. So
I
there
think
you
that
are.
that's a great. I think those are great choices. Capra is actually one of my films. It happened one night. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
always pick the Capra. So
It's a great film. It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Shane and It's a Wonderful Life
Eve?
for the boy and me. Yeah.
God. Oh, it's so difficult. I think I'm going to say there's a film called In Her Shoes with Toni Collette and Cameron Diaz
Yeah.
and Shirley MacLaine. I
Yeah.
really feel not enough people have seen it, and I think it's the most honest, real depiction of what it's like to have sisters. And I have two sisters I'm really close to, so it's one of my favorite movies. I've watched it so many times, and every time it makes me cry. I think it's incredible. And also Lord of the Rings, which is a bit of a cop out because I know it's three films, but I have watched that over and over and over again, and it every time I watch it, I find something new, and I just think it's incredible. So probably one of those.
It's a great answer. I'm a big romantic comedy guy. That's a Curtis Hanson film in her shoes, based on a book, actually.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Great film. I'm a big guy. Anson Mount is awesome in that movie. I love Anson Mount myself. He's a good old Tennessee boy.
Oh
Uh,
my God. Who is he
yeah,
in that movie?
yeah. He plays Todd. He's the lead. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
oh my
great.
God. Now I want to watch it again.
No, it's a pretty fun romantic comedy from 2005. It's really good.
Oh,
And then I
absolutely.
love this. Of course, I love the Lord of the Rings. Who doesn't? I mean, if you were alive, you should love
I
Tolkien. He's one of the best. So
incredible. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. Now I want you guys to do me a huge favor because I most people who are going to listen to this have not seen your movie. I have the luxury of having seen it already. Why should they check it out? So torn when it comes out, and I would love to hear the why. And I want to know the sort of your 30-second pitch for it.
Oh my
What
God.
do you?
This is. Do you
Well, I
want to go
think.
first?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that I think it's a really fun, dangerous film, unique because it announces the arrival of somebody who's really, really talented. I think Freddie McDonald, 23 or 24, or maybe he was 22 when we made the film. An extraordinary talent, and it's riotous. It's full of laughs. It's full of danger, and it's got a great, great performance by Eve. So yeah, there you go. That's why, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like John just did it perfectly there. I would just say it's so original. And I feel like I personally, as a viewer, that is what I crave at the moment so much, like original stories, original film. And this film is like the pinnacle of originality. And like John said, Freddie's a genius, and it just has everything you want in a film: action, comedy, heart. Like it has everything, and it's original. And Freddie's a genius. So please see it.
And let me tell you, John was right about one thing. It does feature a fantastic performance from you, Eve. You're absolutely amazing and electrifying in this movie. And
Thank
the
Yeah,
you.
thing is, your character's so opposite at the start than she is at the finish, and I love that journey that we go through with her. John, your character's the same the entire movie, and I like that guy, but I also don't because he terrifies me.
thank you. Well, that was yeah. So I did my job. That's okay.
You did, yeah. I was like, dude, I don't ever want to meet that guy in a dark alley, and I felt bad for Callum. I'm like, that's your dad?
Yeah.
Like, dude, no, my dad's
I know.
crazy, but he's not that crazy.
But I just have to say that Callum was extraordinary because Callum took everything that was thrown at him. Callum Callum was in that scene to a degree that was really helpful, but at the same time, you kind of thought, you're a little worried that he's going to maybe not be you're going to need a very big anchor to pull him out, So he was amazing, Callum. He was amazing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he stayed with that scene all the way through. Amazing.
I
Wonderful.
got to tell you, I'm going to bring that up to him because he's going to be on here later today. But I also want to point out this is not the first time I've seen him in a situation where I didn't think he was going to pull it out at the end. So I'll bring that up to him later. This has been a fantastic time talking to you guys about this. I really love this movie coming out of South by Southwest. But as my brain works, I forgot to review it, so I get the chance to do it now that it's actually being released. I'll put my review up finally. I forgot to do it for South by Southwest, so I'll do it now. This has been such a fun time. Is there anything else you guys want to leave the audience with before I let you go?
No, it's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm kind of fascinated by those things behind your head. Are they little heads?
I will explain that to you here in a minute, actually, because I got a couple extra minutes. Eve, is there anything else you want to leave the audience with before I explain the nature of these things going on back here?
No, just thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
so
Yeah.
back here we have my head on this side. This is me wearing my famous red beanie. So if you ever go to a film festival and you see me, I'm wearing a red beanie. This is my co-host Shay Simone on that side. She made this artwork. This is our podcast artwork. Every month, those two heads go through a journey depending on what we're talking about.
It's quite. It's kind of
Cool.
nice, isn't it? It's kind of.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So last month we did coming of age films. So instead of using this as our standard logo, we just recreated the poster for Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh my god, so cool.
Yeah.
I'll
And
keep
then
another
the month-
poster.
Yeah. So these guys have been through a journey over the 4 years we've been shooting our podcast. And so if you guys are, I'll plug it since it's my interview. If you guys want to check out Snobcast on all your podcast places, you'll see all the cool artwork and me and my co-host Shay Simone, who's an absolute maniac, talking about our favorite movies. So if you love movies, check it out. I mean, and sometimes we always have guests on. So I mean, you know, if you want to acquire my email and come on and talk about your favorite movies, we've never done one about Irish directors, and you guys happen to be lovely Irish folk. That might be something to talk about. Appreciate you guys being on here though, and I appreciate the extra time to talk about this. Look forward to writing the review for this film because I forgot to do it because my brain doesn't work very well. You guys have a lovely day. You guys are a couple of lovely folks, and it really has been a joy to have you on here.
You too. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure,
Bye.
guys.